The courtroom was cold, not from the air conditioning, but from the history trapped inside its walls. Christine Brown sat motionless, back straight, hands folded in her lap, eyes fixed forward. It was the look of someone who had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. Across the room, Kody Brown braced himself, jaw tight, arms folded like a shield. Beside him, Robyn clung to his arm, her face flushed. Lips pressed tight, but the tension was already spilling into the open. The judge's voice cut through the silence. Christine Brown versus Kody Brown and parties associated. Case number 2025, property division and entitlement to assets. The silence afterward was heavier than any shout, because this wasn't just about deeds or land. It was about promises whispered in late-night conversations, exchanged in trust, and broken without remorse. Christine had been promised Lot 3. It was supposed to be her home, her children's inheritance. She saw it drawn on Kody's family chart. Her name circled, captured forever on camera. But when the papers came, her name was nowhere. Not on the deed, not on the LLC, not even on a single promise in writing. Now, in court, the truth was unraveling. Janelle took the stand, uneasy, caught between loyalty and honesty. Her words trembled. Christine was promised that land, in every sense but legal. Kody laughed loud, dismissive. Even the judge scowled. Then came the evidence. A hot mic moment. Kody's own voice, make her believe she's getting Lot 3. It'll shut her up long enough. The courtroom gasped. Robyn's grip slipped from Kody's arm. You told me you never said that, she whispered. Kody muttered, out of context. But even he didn't sound convinced. Christine didn't cry. She didn't shout. She only whispered, steady, cold. Sometimes it's not the lies that cut the deepest. It's the years you spent believing them. And then came the folder. Emails, receipts, hidden transfers. Robyn's maiden name on LLC documents. Proof that the land and the money had been siphoned away long before Christine ever left. The silence in that courtroom wasn't shock anymore. It was devastation. A family collapsing under the weight of its own secrets. Christine looked at the judge, and for the first time, she smiled. Not in victory, not yet. But because the truth finally had momentum. And once the truth begins to move, it cannot be stopped. The gavel struck. We'll reconvene Monday. Christine rose from her seat. Before leaving, she glanced back just once, and in that moment, it was clear. She was no longer asking permission to be heard. She was done living in Kody's world. She was building her own. The strongest women aren't the ones who never break. They're the ones who break and rise anyway. By Monday, the storm had gathered. The courthouse felt heavier, darker, like a thunderhead waiting to explode. Christine was already seated when Mary walked in. Shoulders square, chin lifted, eyes sharp with something unreadable. Not anger, not peace, but the look of a woman who had been silent too long and was finally ready to speak. At the defense table, Kody sat alone. Robyn was unwell, according to her lawyer. But whispers around the courthouse told a different story. Whispers of bigger schemes. When Mary took the stand, the room went silent. For years, she had been the quiet one, the faithful one. Now, she was prepared to break that silence. The judge leaned forward. Miss Brown, you've been named in new documents. Will you testify under oath? Mary nodded. Yes, Your Honor. Christine's attorney Rose.com. Steady, Mary. Do you recall discussions in 2019 about the Coyote Pass land? I do, she replied, voice soft but certain. Did Kody ever tell you Christine's lot had been moved? Mary shook her head. No, I didn't know until last week. A murmur rippled through the gallery. Kody shifted, his jaw tight. Did you profit from any LLC connected to that land? Not a penny. Kody told us the property would remain in the family even if Christine left. I trusted him. Christine leaned back, not surprised, but wounded just the same. Because sometimes betrayal isn't what people do. It's what they fail to say when you need them most. The attorney pressed further. Were you aware of a second bank account tied to TLC income? Mary hesitated, then whispered, no, but... I suspected. And what did you do with those suspicions? Her voice cracked. Nothing. I'd already lost so much. I didn't want to rock the boat. Kody scoffed under his breath. Always playing the victim. The judge snapped his head toward him. Mr. Brown remained silent and less spoken to. Mary turned to Kody, eyes steady. You think I wanted to be the victim? You pushed me away years ago. I stayed because I hoped. I thought the man I married was still there. But you built a family only to protect yourself. Christine's attorney laid another document before the judge. A trust amendment signed only by Kody and Robyn. It gave Robyn full control of family real estate. Dated just months before Christine left. The judge's brow furrowed. This is extremely irregular, Mr. Brown. Mary's lip trembled. You told us we all had a voice, Kody. He said nothing. The courtroom fell still, because betrayal wasn't just emotional anymore. It was deliberate, legal, and signed in ink. The attorney moved forward. Your Honor, we request a full audit of the Brown family trust, finances, land, decision-making. Post-2018. Granted, the judge ruled. Court will reconvene Wednesday. But the fire had already spread. That night, Christine sat alone at her kitchen table, flipping through her old journals. Not for memories, but for evidence. For years, she'd written everything down. Conversations, promises, arguments, proof. That she hadn't imagined proof that her reality had been rewritten. One entry from 2020 stopped her cold. Robyn's words on paper. If I left, they'd erase my name from everything. Kody had stood silent. Christine's hand trembled on the page. She picked up her phone. Janelle, I need you to testify again. This time, all of it. Even the network stuff. The next morning, social media exploded. Trust amendments, hidden accounts, leaked emails. Hashtag Team Christine trended nationwide. Inside the courtroom, Christine remained calm, steady, waiting. Then Janelle entered, a folder clutched in her hands. Christine's face softened at the sight. They weren't just allies now. They were survivors. When Janelle swore her oath and opened that folder, the air in the room shifted. Inside were payment records, call sheets, TLC memos, documents no outsider should have had. Where did you get these? Christine's attorney asked. Janelle glanced toward the gallery. Let's just say, some people still care about the truth. The memo revealed everything. Bonus payments, $75,000 each, given only to Kody and Robyn, timed with Christine's departure. The courtroom erupted. Even the judge sat back in shock. Christine's voice broke the silence. Barely a whisper. You didn't just release me. You got paid to lose me. The weight of those words crushed the room. And that's when Robyn arrived. Sunglasses on, a new lawyer at her side. The storm had only just begun. Do you remember what you told me the day Truly was born? Christine asked, her voice steady. You said you'd raise her with me, that my kids would be your kids. But when it came time to fight for their future, you chose money and silence. Robyn's jaw locked. Christine's reply was simple. You left long before I did. I just finally caught up. The judge shut his binder. We'll reconvene Thursday, and I strongly recommend both parties prepare for a complete financial examination, including production-related income. Everyone rose, but no one moved. As Christine turned to leave, she paused at Mary's side. Thank you, she whispered. Mary's eyes glistened. We all see it now. Truth isn't always the loudest thing. Sometimes it's the one you can't escape. Thursday morning was different. Not tense fragile. The courtroom overflowed. Reporters lined the walls. Fans crowded the hallways, clutching coffee cups like oxygen. Christine entered, not angry, not defiant, just inevitable. A woman who had shed every tear, endured every silence, and walked through fire with nothing left to prove. Across the aisle, Robyn sat pale beside her new lawyer. Kody walked in but didn't even look at her. That was new. Mary was already in the gallery. Janelle arrived soon after, nodding to Christine in quiet solidarity. The judge entered. Court is now in session. We begin with a full review of the Brown family trust, but Christine's lawyer stepped forward. Your Honor, before documentation, my client calls a new witness. Gwen Brown. The courtroom rippled with shock. Gwen, Christine, and Kody's daughter stepped forward, clutching a file. Her voice trembled, but her words were firm. I didn't want to testify against my dad, but I've seen things I can't stay silent about anymore. She handed over the folder. Screenshots, messages between Kody and Robyn. They weren't just strategy. They were intent, cold, calculated. Gwen's voice broke. They used my mom as a placeholder, a liability. And when she left, they celebrated. You said, finally, she's out. Now we can build for real. That was your daughter, you meant dad. The room fell silent. Kody jumped to his feet, shouting, she's twisting it. She's a kid. But Gwen's eyes burned. I'm not a kid. I'm someone who watched my mother cry while you built a new life next door. The gavel slammed. Mr. Brown, one more outburst and you'll be held in contempt. Christine finally looked at Kody. Not with anger finality. You're not just losing wives, she whispered. You're losing your children. The breakdown began. Bank records projected on screens. Payments disguised as medical expenses. Art. But actually funding therapy for Robyn's children? Christine clarified, it's not that they didn't need help. It's that ours did too. And nobody paid for that. Janelle stood, her voice shaking with fury. I paid for Gabe's surgery myself. Kody told me the family was broke. But that same month, he and Robyn spent $30,000 on a bathroom remodel. Imported marble, a steam shower, gold trim. Pictures flashed across the courtroom, more spa than home. Janelle's words cut deep. He told me the family was broke. But apparently, the only family that mattered lived in Robyn's house. Kody lowered his head. Christine's lawyer pressed on. We now request charges of fraudulent misrepresentation of marital assets and breach of fiduciary duty within the trust. The judge nodded. Motion under review. And then Mary rose. No one expected it. Not even Christine. I'd like to speak. Slowly, she walked forward. I told myself staying made me strong. That silence was noble. It wasn't. It was fear. Kody, you made me feel worthless, like love was something I had to earn over and over and still never hold on to. You strung me along with promises you never intended to keep. I shattered, and I let it happen. Her voice broke, but she pressed on. When you left Christine, I judged her. But now, I wish I had her courage. I believe her allegations. I believe her truth. And I want my name withdrawn from any trust tied to you or Robyn. The gasp this time came from Kody. Mary. Don't. She didn't look at him. You already made that decision for me. Endings don't come when you want them to. They come when you finally quit begging to matter. The judge nodded. So ordered. Mary returned to her seat. She and Christine exchanged a single look, no embrace, no words. Just understanding. The next witness stunned the room. Robyn's ex-husband, David Jessup. Christine's attorney asked, during your divorce, did Robyn ever manipulate trust documents? David's reply was calm. Yes. She fabricated paperwork to make it appear I abandoned the kids. Courts later disproved it, but the damage was done. The courtroom froze. Robyn's lawyer objected. Irrelevant. But the judge overruled. Pattern of behavior is admissible. Christine turned to Robyn, her voice low, deliberate. You always said you wanted peace. But peace built on lies is just war waiting to happen. Is just war waiting to happen. Robyn lowered her head, silent. The judge checked the clock. We'll break for lunch. Closing arguments at 2 p.m. Everyone rose, but no one rushed. Not today. Not after what had been laid bare. Outside, the fans didn't chant, didn't beg for selfies. They just stood in silence, watching a family unravel in real time. Inside, Christine sat alone. Her lawyer whispered, "You okay?" She nodded. "I'm tired, but I'm free." By 2 o'clock, the room was full again. Christine's lawyer stood. Your Honor, this case was never about revenge. It's about recognition of manipulation, of misrepresentation, of the damage inflicted on Christine Brown and the others tied to this so-called family trust. He laid the final demand on the table: Christine's removal from all joint accounts, restoration of Lot 3, and a full forensic audit of TLC profits. Kody's attorney had little to say. Kody stared at the ground. Robyn stared at nothing. The judge's gavel fell. Ruling Monday. When Christine stood, something happened. Gwen rose with her, then Janelle, then Mary. One by one, they followed her out, not in formation, not in protest, but together. Kody stayed seated, alone. The last shot, his hand clutching an old family photo. Smiles that meant nothing now. Monday morning came not with fire, but with silence, the silence after a storm. Christine stood outside the courthouse with a paper cup of coffee, shivering not from the cold but from the weight of what was about to end. Mary lingered in her car. Janelle folded her arms beside Christine. Gwen had already flown out. Robyn had vanished from sight. Kody was somewhere trying to salvage a legacy built on sand. Inside, the judge ruled. Christine had proven her case. Lot 3 returned. Her name removed from all trust liability. And a forensic audit ordered of all profits since 2018. Christine exhaled not victory, but release. Then the final blow: Mr. Brown, based on evidence and testimony. This court strongly recommends you seek independent counsel regarding potential perjury. Kody didn't move. Christine didn't look at him. She whispered to her lawyer, "We're done here." When she stepped into the cameras outside, the tears came, not grief, not anger, but freedom. The kind you feel when you finally exhale after holding your breath for 15 years. That night in her small Salt Lake City rental, Christine placed a photo of her children on the shelf. No Kody, no Robyn, just them. Her phone rang. "Janelle, can I come over?" An hour later, they sat on the porch, wine in hand, staring at the stars. "Savannah's ready to go public," Janelle said. Christine tilted her head. "About what?" "The money, the silence, the lies." Christine sipped her wine. "Not for revenge." "No," Janelle said. "For every woman like us. The deadliest lie is the one that tells you to stay silent." The next day, they filmed a short video. Just the two of them. No producers, no cameras. Just truth. Christine spoke first. "We loved him. We believed in something bigger than ourselves. But love doesn't survive lies." Janelle followed, "And it doesn't survive being treated like an option." The video went viral. Women across the country shared their pain, their silence, their survival. But behind the headlines, another storm was brewing. Kody filed a counterclaim. Not for land, not for money, for custody of Truly. It was a bombshell. Christine stared at the papers, shaking. He's never even asked for custody before. Barely called. Why now? Her lawyer's voice was grave. "It's not about her. It's about control. He's using your daughter to keep you in his shadow." That evening, Truly whispered, "Mom, why is he doing this now?" Christine pulled her close. "Because I stopped letting him tell me who I get to be." Truly's eyes welled up. "I don't want to go." And Christine knew the next fight wouldn't be over money or property. It would be for her daughter's heart. It would be for her daughter's heart. The courtroom grew silent. The child psychologist opened a folder. "I spoke with Truly Brown 3 times. She is thoughtful, clear, and brave. I'll read her words." Christine braced herself. "I don't hate my dad. I don't even think he's mean. But he's not really my dad. He wasn't there when I was sick or scared or needed him. He called sometimes, but it felt like he was checking a box. My mom was there, always. She listens. She doesn't pretend." Kody lowered his head. The room didn't gasp, sank. Sometimes the truth doesn't scream, it whispers. Christine's eyes filled, but she stayed composed. The psychologist continued. "Truly fears being placed where she feels like an outsider. She does not oppose visitation, but she is not ready for shared custody or relocation." The judge finally looked at Christine. Would you agree to supervise visits? Christine nodded. Yes, but only if she desires them. Not because he demands, it because she chooses it. The judge turned to Kody. Can you honor that? Kody's voice cracked. I don't want to lose her. The judge's reply cut deep. Then stop trying to win. Parenthood isn't proven in court. It's built in the quiet moments no one sees. At recess, Christine walked the hallway. Reporters shouted questions. She ignored them. This wasn't about the headlines. It was about her child. Back inside, her attorney laid out the cold facts. Years of missed birthdays, unanswered texts, absences stacked like bricks. This custody request didn't come from love, she said. It came after losses in court and after public criticism. This isn't about truly, it's about control. The judge sighed, weary of the pattern. Final comments before I rule. Kody rose. I was wrong. I failed her. But I can do better. Christine stood. He doesn't need custody to do better. He only has to show up. Not in court. In her life? The judge nodded. Thank you. I will rule now. The gavel fell. Joint custody denied. Full custody to Christine Brown. Visitation at the child's choice and comfort level. Christine closed her eyes. Truly was safe, not a pawn, not leverage. Just a child. Kody stayed seated, quiet, maybe angry, maybe broken. Christine didn't care. This was never about him. It was about her daughter's heart. Months passed. The headlines faded. The family didn't. Truly healed in therapy. Christine rebuilt a life with grocery runs, school drop-offs, and quiet dinners. Janelle visited weekly. Mary began writing letters. Gwen returned home. Slowly, the women laughed louder and cried less. One night, Christine lit a candle at her kitchen table. The war was done. The wounds weren't gone, but they were open now, healing in the air. Later came the podcast. Unscripted, life after polygamy. No producers. No edits, just truth. It exploded overnight. Women everywhere wrote. I left, too. Thank you for showing me I could. Christine realized closure wasn't the end. It was purpose. Then one day, Kody appeared at her door. Smaller now, his voice soft. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here for custody. I'm sorry. I lost everything trying to control everything. And I failed you. I failed her. Christine stayed silent. Truly stepped forward. I don't hate you, she said flatly, but I'm still angry. Kody nodded. That's okay. I deserve it. She hugged him brief, awkward, and walked away. Christine told him, this doesn't change anything. I know, he whispered. But maybe it begins something for her. He left, and Christine let him. No rage, no heartbreak. Just steady. That night she wrote in her journal, today, my daughter set her own boundary. And I let her. That's how I know I'm healing. Seasons passed. The women spoke on panels, counseled strangers, rebuilt friendships. The podcast grew. Networks called. Christine didn't chase the spotlight anymore. She had the one thing she fought decades for, choice. And as autumn fell on Salt Lake City, Christine stood by her window, coffee in hand, watching Truly laugh in the yard. Life wasn't perfect. It never would be. But it was hers. Not a man's, not a producer's, hers. Not a man's, not a producer's, hers.